You walk into your bank, cameras everywhere, silent alarm under the teller counter, motion sensors, wireless security wrapping the whole building like a net, every door wired, every window monitored. The manager sleeps easy knowing if anything moves wrong, dispatch gets the call in seconds. Except one morning in Modesto, California, May 2024, 3 guys in construction vests and COVID masks walk through a pet spa next door. They test the wall. They smile. They leave. That night they come back with blowtorches and a device the size of a pack of cigarettes. They flip a switch. Every alarm goes silent. Every camera stops sending. The security company sees nothing. The police get no call. $247,000 disappears through a hole cut in drywall. Bank opens Monday. Vault's empty. Nobody knew a thing. The portable signal jammer. A box you can buy online for a few $100 that erases your entire security system with a button push. How it works. Why it is spreading. And what happened when 11 people from Chile turned it into the backbone of a $4 million ATM robbery tour across California, Oregon, and Washington. The silent weapon, the instant off switch. The reason your wireless alarm might not save you. If you value documented criminal technology history like this, subscribe. It is the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you are hearing this from. Also, this script is researched and factual using sources from the United States Department of Justice, Eastern District of California, Federal Indictment filed October 2024, case number 224, CR 330, the Department of Homeland Security. Official warning statement published June 18, 2025, referencing the 830% Customs and Border Protection seizure increase since 2021. Digital monitoring products. Technical white paper on cellular jamming, published December 10, 2025, by the Electronic Security Association, and the Federal Communications Commission Enforcement Database, documenting penalties under communications. Act Section 302B and Section 333. Now back to the information. Your cell phone uses bands between 700 MHz and 2.1 GHz. Your alarm system sends alerts over cellular networks or Wi-Fi. GPS runs on 1.5 GHz. All of these are radio waves. Invisible highways carrying data. A jammer floods those highways with garbage. It transmits a stronger signal on the same frequency. The receiver, your security panel or your phone, cannot tell the difference between the real signal and the noise. It hears static. It stops working. The conversation ends. No alarm leaves the building. No 911 call connects. Security goes dark. By the 1990s, portable jammers existed but cost thousands of dollars and required expertise. Then came the internet and Chinese manufacturing. Today, you can find them on overseas websites for $30. Pocket-sized models, wrist-mounted versions, car plug-in units. They ship labeled as something else to dodge customs. Once they arrive, they work instantly. No setup, no training. You press a button, and every phone, every camera, every alarm in a 30-meter radius stops transmitting. For burglars, this is better than bolt cutters, better than a disguise. It is invisibility. Section 333 makes willful interference a crime. Violators face fines up to $112,500 per violation. Criminal charges, imprisonment. The Federal Communications Commission treats jammers like explosives. They can block 911 calls, they can stop ambulance dispatch, they can ground air traffic control. In 2012, the FCC fined a man in Florida $48,000 for using a jammer in his car during his commute because he did not want people on phones near him. His jammer was disrupting a police tower. He faced 2 years in prison. The law has no exceptions for civilians. You cannot own one. You cannot use one. Even local police need federal approval. Customs and Border Protection has been waging a losing battle. According to the Department of Homeland Security statement released June 18, 2025, CBP has seen roughly an 830% increase in seizures since 2021. 830%. Not 83, 830. Chinese manufacturers are flooding the market. They disguise shipments. They mislabel boxes. They route through third countries. And for every jammer seized at the border, dozens more slip through. The devices are small. They look like phone chargers or walkie-talkies. Some are the size of USB drives. Inspectors cannot catch them all. Meanwhile, demand is exploding, not from hobbyists, from organized crime. Mostly Chilean and Colombian nationals entering the U.S. on tourist visas or illegally crossing the southern border. They do not come for tourism. They come to rob. High-end homes, jewelry stores, banks, ATMs. Their signature? Signal jammers. They disable alarms before entry. They block cameras during the job. They jam police radios when cops respond. In February 2025, Texas police arrested a Chilean national during a burglary. They found a signal jammer in his car, still powered on. In December 2024, another crew used a jammer during a break-in. When deputies arrived, their in-car computer went dead. The jammer was still running in the getaway vehicle. According to DHS, these groups have hit Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia. The pattern is always the same. Scout the location, rent a short-term Airbnb nearby, arrive in disguises. Flip the jammer, smash and grab, gone in minutes. He used aliases. He rented cars on the black market. He rented Airbnbs under fake names. And he used signal jammers, blowtorches, and construction disguises to break into ATM vaults. The indictment calls it a conspiracy to commit bank robbery. Federal charge. Each defendant faces 25 years. ATMs sit in vaults inside the bank or attached to exterior walls. The vaults are steel, reinforced concrete. You cannot just pry them open. So the crew found the weak point, the wall of the business next door. A pet grooming salon. On a reconnaissance trip, several crew members walked into the pet spa during business hours. Surveillance footage shows one suspect distracting an employee. Another suspect taps the wall. He is testing the construction. Drywall. Studs. Nothing serious. They leave. That night they return with tools. They cut through the wall of the pet spa into the Wells Fargo ATM vault. They use blowtorches to open the vault door. They take over $80,000 in cash. The alarm never sounds. The jammer blocks the signal. Security company sees nothing. Police are not called until the bank opens Monday morning and staff find a hole in the wall. 3 weeks later, Auburn, California. June 2024, Golden One Credit Union. This time the haul is bigger, $226,000. The crew uses the same method. Scout adjacent businesses, cut through walls at night, blowtorches, jammers. They are in and out in under 2 hours. No alarms, no response. The ATMs are empty by dawn. Estimates say each machine held between $150,000 and $200,000, $300,000 to $400,000 total. Again, the alarm systems fail. The jammers work. Security cameras record nothing because the wireless feed is dead. The crew loads the cash into vehicles and disappears. This time they take $247,000. The setup is elaborate. Days before the robbery, some crew members enter the pet spa next door again. Different city, same tactic. One distracts the employee with questions about dog grooming. Another walks to the back wall and tests the material. Surveillance captures a suspect wearing an upside-down Los Angeles Dodgers hat. He walks outside and spray paints the security cameras black. Pure black. No footage. No faces. The next night, the crew cuts through the pet spa wall into the Wells Fargo vault. Blowtorches, sledgehammers. They crack the ATM safe. Signal jammer kills the alarm. They vanish with $247,000. Alarm silent. They steal an undisclosed amount and leave no evidence except tool marks. The tools get fingerprinted. Forensics links them to prior robberies. The FBI starts connecting dots. The Suburban became key evidence. Unknown to the crew, it had an Apple AirTag hidden inside. Someone, maybe a prior owner or maybe law enforcement, planted the tracker. The AirTag transmitted location data. Investigators pulled the logs. The vehicle was at or near the scene of multiple robberies. The timing matched. When the Suburban was parked outside an Airbnb in Turlock, the crew hit a nearby bank. When it moved to Mount Shasta, another robbery followed. The AirTag became a timeline, a digital breadcrumb trail. Surveillance footage from the Airbnbs shows crew members moving in with hard-shell toolboxes, tool bags, and backpacks. The same equipment appeared in bank surveillance footage. The FBI documented it all. Photos, timestamps, receipts. But the stop put the vehicle on law enforcement radar. Weeks later, when the AirTag data surfaced, agents realized the same Suburban had been at multiple crime scenes. They issued warrants. Maite Celis Silva, Eric Osorio Olivares, Pablo Andrés Valdés Rodríguez, Rosa Francisca Bastías Serra, Camilo Andrés Sepúlveda Guzmán, Basil Alejandro da Costa Frías, Camilo Alarcón, Michelle Alondra Parada Munoz, Alvaro Lagos Mieres, Humberto Jiménez Moreno, all foreign nationals, 10 from Chile, 1 from Peru, 1 from Venezuela. 9 were arrested in late October, 2 remain at large. The indictment details over a dozen robberies and attempted robberies between May and October. Targets included banks in Fresno, Auburn, Merced, Clovis, Modesto, Roseville, Rockland, Yuba City, Fall River Mills, and the Los Angeles area, also Oregon, also Washington. The conspiracy crossed state lines, federal jurisdiction. Each conspiracy charge carries up to 5 years. Each bank robbery charge carries up to 20 years. Moyano faces the most counts. If convicted on all charges, he could get decades. Dispatch calls the police. Response time in urban areas is under 5 minutes. For a smash and grab crew, that is not enough time. They need silence. They need the alarms to never trigger. The jammer gives them that. It does not cut wires. It does not smash sensors. It just stops the signal. The security system thinks everything is fine. The monitoring station sees no alerts. The crew has 30 minutes, an hour, however long they need. Compare this to old school bank robbery. Walk in during business hours, pass a note, threaten the teller, maybe get $10,000, maybe get caught on camera, maybe get tackled by a customer. High risk, low reward. Now compare it to ATM vault theft with jammers. No employees present, no witnesses, no confrontation, alarms disabled, cameras offline. Haul is 6 figures per job, the risk drops, the reward skyrockets. This is why SATG crews have adopted jammers. This is why DHS is sounding alarms. 5 gigahertz, 700 to 2100 megahertz cellular bands. GPS at 1.5 gigahertz. Some high-end models can jam up to 10 different frequencies at once. Range varies. Cheap jammers work within 10 meters. Professional models reach 100 meters or more. The power output matters. More watts equal longer range. But even a weak jammer inside a building will kill every wireless device in that building. Concrete and drywall do not stop radio waves easily. The jammer floods the space. Manufacturers did not build in strong anti-jamming features because the devices were illegal. Who would use them? Turns out criminals would. The idea is, even if the jammer kills the primary alarm signal, Jam Alert can still get a distress message out. At the Electronic Security Association Innovation Awards in 2025, Jam Alert won Best in Show. It is being marketed as a critical upgrade for banks, jewelry stores, and high-value targets. But it is not standard. Most systems do not have it, most homes do not have it, and even Jam Alert is not foolproof. A sophisticated attacker could jam its backup channel too. It is an arms race, offense versus defense. Jammers get better, detectors get better, jammers adapt. In 2025, DHS publicly stated that Chinese manufacturers are actively subverting inspections. They know the law, they do not care. The profit is too high. A jammer costs maybe $50 to manufacture in Shenzhen. It sells online for $200 to $500. Markup is huge, and the customer base is global. Criminals worldwide want this tech. 20 states now have specific statutes banning signal jammers. Indiana introduced Senate Bill 26 in 2025 to criminalize the manufacture, sale, and use of jammers at the state level after a burglary in Vanderburgh County, where deputies found a jammer in the suspect vehicle. The jammer disabled the deputies' in-car computer during the arrest. Sheriff Noah Robinson testified that more powerful jammers are becoming available easily and can disrupt a wide range of frequencies. The bill passed committee. It removed language that would have criminalized mere possession. Now it only penalizes use in connection with a crime. Still, penalties include fines and imprisonment, but state laws cannot stop interstate smuggling. That is a federal problem. Meanwhile, jammers are getting smaller and more sophisticated. Early models were bulky. They looked suspicious. Now they fit in a pocket. Some are built into fake phone chargers. Some are disguised as power banks. In 2024, burglary gangs in Los Angeles were caught planting miniature cameras in residential yards to monitor homeowner movements. The cameras were hidden in fake rocks. The power source? A signal jammer built into the camera housing. It blocked the homeowner's Wi-Fi, so their security cameras went offline. Then the gang knew when to strike. Police found the devices in Temecula and Glendale. The sophistication is increasing. This is not script kiddie level hacking. This is organized crime investing in R&D. To find 2 men inside their house. Both suspects fled. One escaped in a gray Jeep. Deputies spotted the Jeep on Highway 41 near Baseline Road. They initiated a stop. As they approached the driver, the deputy's in-car computer suddenly went dead. No radio, no data link, no GPS. The jammer was still active in the vehicle. The driver was Jaime Giovanni Riquelme Riveras, Chilean national. He had entered the U.S. in April. He refused to talk without a lawyer. Deputies searched the Jeep. They found the jammer powered on. A small black box with antennas, still transmitting. They also found tools, crowbars, gloves, electronics. Riveras was charged with burglary, but the jammer scared law enforcement. If a burglar can shut down police radios during a chase, that is a public safety crisis. Officers cannot call for backup. Dispatch cannot track their location. In a shooting or a pursuit, that delay could be fatal. Some are sold openly as security testing equipment. Some are smuggled as contraband. Chinese law also bans public use of jammers, but factories keep producing them for export. It is a gray market, a global cat and mouse game. Police arrested the suspects before they could complete the theft. Jewelers Security Alliance tracks these crimes. They say SATG crews have hit stores across the country. The Jewelers Security Alliance, May 2024, bulletin warned members about Chilean nationals using jammers. They advised upgrading to hardwired alarm systems. Wired systems cannot be jammed. The signal travels through physical cables. But hardwiring is expensive. It requires professional installation. Most businesses rely on wireless because it is cheaper. Residents reviewed footage later. Gaps, missing segments. The cameras lost connection during the break-in. LAPD warned residents to secure electrical circuit boxes with padlocks because some burglars were cutting power to disable alarms. But even with power on, jammers could kill wireless systems. The alert urged people to consider hardwired security. NBC Los Angeles aired a report featuring LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell. He called jammers a universal key, the hottest device in the criminal toolkit. He said burglars are using them to bypass the newest technology. Guy Cohen, founder of Secure at Homes, demonstrated on camera how quickly a jammer works. Seconds, one button push, and every camera in a house goes offline. He recommended hardwired systems. But he also said most people do not have them because of cost. The segment reached millions. Public awareness is rising, but so is jammer use. He contacted Nest support. They said the doorbell had no connectivity issues until the incident. Grubb did research. He found you can buy Wi-Fi deauthorization microcontrollers for $7, a wrist-mounted jammer for $50. Grubb suspected the burglar used one. He had no proof. But the gaps in the video were damning. Google investigated. They found no evidence of jamming, but the timing was suspicious. A device that never lost connection suddenly lost connection during a burglary? Grubb posted his story online. Security forums picked it up. The consensus? Jammers are real, they are cheap, and they work. Prices ranged from $25 to several hundred. The devices violated FCC rules. NBC News contacted Amazon. Within days, all 9 listings disappeared. Amazon spokesperson said the company prohibits the sale of jamming devices. But the sellers were back weeks later under different names. It is whack-a-mole. The FCC investigated Amazon for allowing the sales. The investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, eBay, Alibaba, and other platforms still host listings. They call them GPS jammers for personal privacy or cell phone silencers for classrooms. The language is coded. Everyone knows what they are really for. If a jammer is labeled as a Bluetooth speaker or a power bank, it might pass through. Even when seized, the penalty falls on the importer. A guy ordering a jammer from Shenzhen to his house in Ohio gets a warning letter from CBP, maybe a fine. But the Chinese seller faces nothing. The factory keeps operating. The website stays live. There is no extradition for jammer manufacturing. It is not drug trafficking. It is not terrorism. It is a regulatory violation. Countries prioritize bigger crimes. Whether China complies is political. If it serves their interest, they will. If not, they will not. And jammers are not a foreign policy priority. Trade deals, tariffs, semiconductors, those dominate. Jammers are a footnote. Officers recovered fragments. The device was professionally built. Circuit boards, antennas, cooling fins. It was not a cheap model. The suspects were part of an Armenian organized crime group, according to Glendale PD spokesman Aram Abramayan. He said these gangs enter on tourist visas, they burglarize homes, they fly back, rinse, repeat. The jammers make it easy, disable alarms, smash, grab, exit. In Temecula, May 2024, a resident found a camera hidden in his front yard planter. Leaves were taped over the lens. A cord ran to a small device buried in the soil. The resident called police. They identified the device as a Wi-Fi jammer. The camera and jammer were watching the neighbor's house. Law enforcement believes South American burglary gangs placed it. The gangs case properties for days. They record when people come and go. They identify patterns. Then they hit when the house is empty. The camera feeds back to their phones. The jammer ensures no alarms reach police during the break-in. It is military-level surveillance adapted for property crime. No connection, no service. And by then it is too late. The burglar is inside. The robbery is happening. By the time you realize it, the damage is done. Professional models cost thousands. Most homeowners do not own one. Even if they did, what would they do? Walk around their house with a spectrum analyzer every night checking for jammers? It is not practical. The panel connects to the monitoring station via a landline or fiber optic connection. No radio waves, no jamming. The catch? Installation is expensive. Contractors have to drill holes, run cable through walls. It takes days, costs thousands. For businesses like banks, it makes sense. For homeowners, it is a hard sell. Wireless systems cost $500. Hardwired systems cost $5,000. Most people pick wireless. Another option is redundancy, dual path communication. The alarm system uses both cellular and Wi-Fi to reach the monitoring station. If one path gets jammed, the other might work, but sophisticated jammers hit both. A barrage jammer sweeps multiple frequencies simultaneously. It can knock out cellular and Wi-Fi at the same time. Redundancy helps against amateur attackers. Against professionals, it is a speed bump. Some people think encrypted wireless signals are immune to jamming. They are not. Encryption protects the content of the message. Jamming prevents the message from being sent at all. It does not matter if the signal is encrypted if the receiver cannot hear it through the noise. Jamming is physical layer attack. Encryption is application layer defense. Different problems. In 2011, they fined a North Carolina company $34.9 million for selling jammers online. The company marketed them as blocking devices for classrooms, theaters, and churches. The FCC said that violated the law. The fine was astronomical, meant to send a message, but the company dissolved. The owners declared bankruptcy. The fine was never collected. The FCC has issued smaller fines since. $22,000 here, $15,000 there. It does not stop the trade. They refer it to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Federal prosecutors are swamped with drug trafficking, human smuggling, white-collar crime. A jammer possession case is low priority unless it ties to a bigger conspiracy, So the jammer charge gets dropped. The burglar pleads to burglary. They get probation or a few years. They get out. They buy another jammer. Jammers disable body cameras. They block radio comms. They blind dash cams. In a foot chase, an officer loses contact with dispatch. In a shooting, an officer cannot call for backup. It is life-threatening. But Congress moves slow. Bills get introduced. They sit in committee. Lobbyists weigh in. Civil liberties groups worry about surveillance overreach. Tech companies worry about collateral damage. Nothing passes. The laws stay the same. Jammers stay illegal. Enforcement stays weak. Faster prosecution. Harsher penalties. Some states are trying. Indiana's Senate Bill 26 makes using a jammer during a crime a separate felony, adds years to the sentence. That raises the cost. If you get caught with a jammer during a burglary, you are not just facing burglary charges, you are facing jammer charges too. Stack them. Make the penalties hurt. But only if prosecutors charge them. Only if judges uphold them. Only if the system follows through. Military radios do. Civilian infrastructure does not. As the network evolves, so do the attacks. The 11 defendants from California are awaiting trial. Some remain in custody, some posted bail. The trial will be in federal court, Eastern District of California. If convicted, they face decades. But the jammers they used are still out there. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. Shipped from China, sold online, used in crimes across the country. Every week another burglary, another robbery, another jammer seizure. The 830% increase Customs reported is just what they caught. Imagine what got through. That requires political will. That requires trade pressure, and so far it has not happened. The jammers keep coming. The crimes keep happening. In October 2024, 11 people were indicted in California. The timeline is accelerating. The problem is getting worse, and most Americans have no idea. Meanwhile, the burglar is in your house. The thief is in the vault. The jammer is in their pocket. And when they leave, they take it with them. No evidence, no trace, just missing valuables and a dead security system. They are used by sophisticated crews, SATG gangs, organized burglary rings. But the knowledge is spreading. The devices are getting cheaper. The tutorials are on YouTube. Anyone with $100 and a tracking number can get one. And once it arrives, they have the power to erase your security. The problem is systemic. It requires a coordinated response. Federal enforcement, state laws, international cooperation, technological innovation, public awareness, all of it, together, and none of it is happening fast enough. How many security camera gaps were blamed on technical failures instead of jammers? We do not know. There is no national database, no central reporting, just scattered incidents, local news stories, a burglary here, a robbery there. The pattern is there if you look, but most people are not looking. A technological arms race between security and crime, and right now crime is winning. The tools are cheaper, the tactics are better, the law is slower, and the gap is widening. Not theoretical, real, documented, happening today. When investigators pulled the data, they had a roadmap. Every robbery, every Airbnb, every city. The AirTag was the break in the case. It tied the vehicle to the crew to the robberies to the conspiracy. It transmitted silently. It uploaded to the cloud. And when the FBI came knocking with warrants, they had everything. Dates, times, locations, proof. Maybe they are scouting a bank right now, testing walls, buying jammers, renting Airbnbs. The cycle continues. Drove away. The employee had no idea they had just helped case a bank robbery. No idea that 2 nights later those same men would cut through that wall and steal $250,000. The banality of it, the audacity, the precision. When something failed, they adjusted. They hit 29 targets. Some succeeded, some failed, but they learned. They refined, they got better, and they almost got away with it. In Fall River Mills, the crew left tools behind. Blowtorches, saws, crowbars. They were interrupted. They fled. Forensics lifted prints, matched them to prior scenes. That mistake cost them, but it also shows the pressure. Even with jammers, the job is not foolproof. Time matters, noise matters, witnesses matter. The jammer buys minutes. It does not guarantee success, but it shifts the odds. And for criminals, odds are everything. The case is ongoing. Trials will take years. Evidence is being processed. Witnesses are being interviewed. But the technology is already moving on. Next generation jammers, smaller, more powerful, more selective. They will target specific frequencies, leave others untouched. A jammer that kills alarms but leaves Wi-Fi working so the homeowner does not notice. A jammer that blocks cameras but allows phones so people do not get suspicious. The evolution is inevitable. The arms race continues. The Modesto Wells Fargo reopened after the robbery. New vault, new alarms, probably new security. But the question remains, are they hardwired or wireless? Because if they are wireless, the next crew with a jammer can do it again. The tech is out there. The knowledge is out there. And $4 million is a strong incentive.